So we got a little bit of a problem with the Polaris. After we got it running in the last video, I went ahead and loaded it up on the trailer and took it to the lake so I could run it into the water just to kind of see how everything was going. And during that time, my genius self had this thing tied down with ratchet straps to the old garbage trailer that I have outside. And the pump ended up sucking up the tail of one of those ratchet straps. So once I went ahead and untied the thing, somehow I didn't notice that part of the ratchet strap was missing, but went and tried to idle it around the lake. The thing had no power. So got it back thinking that there was something wrong. Maybe the reeds were no good. Maybe there was a carb issue. Wasn't really sure because it revved up just fine, but wasn't making any power. So anyway, I ended up crawling up under the thing. And as you can see in the pictures here, you could clearly see the ratchet strap all hung up inside the intake grate. And then once I ended up pulling out the impeller, it was all wrapped around in there. So we got absolutely nowhere with the testing. And that's kind of where I'm picking up today is it's getting really cold out. It's only maybe about 40 degrees outside right now, middle of October. So I'm going to try and take this thing to the lake, make a real quick lap, and I want to see if there's anything wrong with this thing substantially that I need to address over the winter before we're ready to go next summer. And some things you just can't really test on land, so I really need to get it out there. I'm going to go ahead and pull my plug wires off though and go ahead and check the compression on this thing. It does start really well. It's just a matter of if the ratchet strap being all sucked up into the jet pump was the whole issue as to why this thing wasn't making any power. First one we'll check out is this back cylinder here, which is the one that we put the new piston and head. The plug itself looks pretty good, I don't think. Looks like a proper two-stroke plug, so I don't think there's anything to worry about there really. Go ahead and screw in our compression tester and see what we can come up with here. So we're making right at 100 psi, which is not great at all. This compression tester may not be the most accurate thing on the planet, but 100 psi is not ideal. We'll see how close the other two are though, because what we really want is uniformity across the board. Based off that 100 psi showing though, we may be doing a cylinder like I had talked about before. This one, plug looks the same. Nothing really crazy going on there. Yeah, so that cylinder's got about 125, which is way more of what we'd be looking for. That's great. That back cylinder, I think it was just too scored up. We tried, but I think that is going to have to be changed. We'll see what this front one is though. All these plugs do look like they might be running a little rich, which honestly makes sense just based off of the fact that we have the oil pump still hooked up, and then I did do a pre-mix fuel. And we're right about 125 on this one as well, probably like 122, 123-ish. So I'm happy with that. That back cylinder, I kind of hoped it would work, but I don't think that cylinder was in a good enough spot. It is what it is. The other problem that does need addressed with this thing is the trim motor. I think I talked about this in an earlier video, but it uses the same type of setup as that old blue Sea-Doo that we had, where it's an electric trim motor, and this one does not work either. I don't know why they just couldn't go with a cable system like those older Yamahas used, but for whatever reason they didn't, and so now you get stuck with this type of junk that just doesn't work. But aside from that, the thing does run, so I think we're going to load it up on the trailer and try to take it to the lake. Hopefully I don't get stranded because I'm going by myself and that water is cold right now. So We'll see. So when you're going jet skiing in the winter, or almost winter, it's important to have all the proper attire. You've got to have your beanie, about 3 layers of shirts on, got a couple layers of pants on, and then of course the rubber boots here. This is the type of stuff you go jet skiing in. Looks more like I'm about to go four-wheeling, but that's what we're taking the jet ski with today. It's cold outside, boys. Very cold. We have arrived. I got this thing backed in. You can really see now how just lovely this trailer is. Very, very clapped out, but it made it here. Fired it up on land, still started instantly, so now hopefully it'll just kind of put around the lake and maybe make a little bit of power. Not going to get into it super hard because, well, I say that we're trying to break in that rear cylinder, and maybe having the rings not in that cylinder not fully seated, maybe that's why we're not getting as great of compression, but I still feel like it's too low, so we'll see. But I'm not going to beat on it too hard. I just want to see that it goes more than 5 miles an hour like what happened last time when we cut that ratchet strap up in there. Go ahead and try to shove this thing off. You can see here on this trailer, there isn't very many good places to step, and most of it is pretty rusted out. So yeah, see if we can get this thing turned around somewhat. Main thing I really don't want to do is fall in this water. That's what it's called. Oh. All right, boys. That ain't good.
No, don't like that.
That ain't good. So I did bring some starting fluid. Juicy. This ain't gonna happen. We tried, we failed miserably. Good deal. I think the battery is almost dead as well, so I don't think that's helping a whole lot either. I'm now paddling with my foot. We're almost to the trailer. I think that compression check I did in the garage must have taken out the majority of the battery, and now we're not doing so well. I don't understand. This always happens to me. I don't know why I keep on with projects like this. They're so dumb. I can tell you right now what the biggest problem is, and I knew that from the beginning, which is why I should have never touched this thing. But that, oh, look at that, it's just beautiful. That right there, boys, is how you are guaranteed to know that whatever machine it is that is attached to is going to be a flaming pile of the most disgusting poop again. So when I get back, I guess I'll pull the battery. What? Explain that to me. I don't care. I just don't care. That is so weird. You guys could hear it in the video. The battery was pretty much dead on this thing. It wouldn't spin it over at all. And now it starts just fine on its own with zero starting fluid. Just fires right up. I don't care. I'm not getting back out in there.
How much you want to bet?
Because this time it'll probably fire up and drive perfectly for Probably once I get like halfway out to that island over there, and then it'll die. And then I'm really screwed because that's a long ways, and I don't think my boots are going to paddle me back that far. So, as far as the jet skis go, we will see you guys next year.
Or not.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
We are moving. It's mass, boys. She's fast. Yeah, that fixed the issue. That fixed the issue for sure. Okay. That makes everything all worth it. Man, I'm glad I didn't just call this a wrap for the year. Thing moves. It scoots. Boy, if we get that trim going, it's really hard to say how this thing is going to operate just based off of that little bit right there. But it's got some serious torque, which, I mean, you kind of expect, being as it's a triple. But yeah, no, this thing is not a slouch at all. I am very excited to see how this is going to stack up against the Yamahas. And the fact that it does run good now gives me way more motivation to go ahead and replace that back cylinder and actually get this thing up to full compression on all cylinders. Not bad at all, boys. Polaris, I take back about 5% of what I said about you. I wish I could really give you guys, I'm so worried about breaking down out in the middle of there because there is nobody around for a ways that would be able to help me out. So maybe this weekend we'll give it another shot. If I can get somebody to come out here with a boat, I'd be comfortable in really ripping this thing around. So maybe we'll do that. I just really hate to break down out there otherwise. But man, just the instant torque that I was able to feel when I really gave this thing some throttle is pretty impressive. It's been a while since, well, not a while, but it's been a couple months since I rode one of the other jet skis even, and so can't remember how peppy those Yamahas were, but it just didn't seem as much as this one. So I think do some more tune-up on it, probably really go through the carbs this winter. That and then rebuilding that back cylinder. This thing should be running pretty prime. I think a lot of the problems maybe with getting this thing to start too could have something to do with that lower compression in the back, but I don't know if that would play that much of a difference because it's not like it has nothing back there. Then the only other thing I can think of is the fact that we've got super rich fuel in there. That would definitely play a factor, and those plugs were pretty black. So either way, guys, hope you're as excited as I am, because to me, this is a huge step forward compared to how I thought things were going to be, especially when I took this thing out here and it only had like a quarter of the power that it should have.